Pip-Boy, audio test 1. Pip-Boy, audio test 1. Finally got it working again. Today's moment of positivity. Positive moment number 2. Let me kick my feet up for a minute. Okay then. Here we go. Michael Robertson, The Truth of the Lone Wanderer, Entry 1. It might as well have been the gate of heaven. That is, when I had lived behind it. A mystical doorway to a mythical place that friends and I only read about in old school books. Tales of green earth, giant reservoirs of clean water, and civilizations living together and working together. Civilization. Right. Our teachers taught us lessons, taught to them by their teachers, who had as much experience of the outside world as the students they were teaching, who really knew what to believe. Half of what we learned didn't even have a picture to go with it, just description based upon other descriptions of things that we had never once seen, never indulged any of our senses in for that matter. And who of us would have really cared to? The land beyond the vault was to us as our wasteland would be to old world inhabitants. A joke, a dream, a pastime for children to pretend about. Once I was asked, weren't you taught to prepare in case you had to leave? In case we had to leave? In case we had to leave what? None of us would have thought that we needed to be prepared for anything beyond the vault. Are you crazy? We were born in the vault. We would die in the vault. That's what we knew. That was our destiny. A life below ground, unknowing as to whether or not ground even existed. But when it opened that day, the gate to the other side, when Amada woke me and told me that my father had been chased from our home, our world, and out into this unbreathable space between planets that we have all come to call the wasteland, euphoria, disgust, enlightenment? Not even close. I was a child prematurely leaving the womb, born for the first time, too soon. An entire lifetime before my expulsion from the matriarch's sanctuary was scheduled to happen. I was a Brahmin dropped from its two-headed mother into the slaughter shack. Never even had a chance to learn how to stand. I killed my first man that day. I had seen blood before, my father being a doctor and all, but the lifelessness. The color rushed from the face. That moment where rage and power end, and a frozen portrait of terror is all that remains. The stillness that overtakes the chaos. I was nearly too afraid to continue running for the door. Nearly. The rad roaches and bloodthirsty roars of the vault's guards helped to motivate my feet. When I reached the vault door, Amada was just behind me. Her father's guard nearly killed her trying to find out where I was hiding. She didn't rat on me. She never did. Our goodbyes were quick, if you can allow the word good to be the label of that moment. The guards arrived and I ran. I ran. The guards were too scared to follow.
I'm not going
I had
out there.
crossed heaven's gate and their sins were too fresh, too severe to tempt the barrier of God. I looked back, beyond the padded sinners holding their batons. I looked back and I watched Amada fade in the near distance, my feet backing down the long cavern, carrying me to the life after. We had been friends since we were kids, Amada and I. The best of friends. Leaving her was harder than having to defend myself from Officer Shithead, who I killed moments earlier to preserve my own life. The look on her face was as terrifying as the look on the man I killed. You never forget your first. First murder. First death. First look of hopelessness on a loved one. All of us died that day. And some of us, reborn. When the vault door closed behind me, well, there was a saying that Ms. Armstrong used to preach to us. The devil's greatest trick was convincing us that he doesn't exist. Miss Armstrong had never been so right and so wrong, all in the same sentence. I'm not religious, but in that moment I had never been more sure of anything in my life. Hell was a very real place, and my then present feelings were that I would have been a fortuitous soul if hell had actually been the place in which I stood. But you know there's a saying out here in the wasteland. War never changes. wonder how long ago these people were here. What? Rock? Stone? This is what rock and stone look like? Doesn't look the same as it does in books. Ah, Mata, she'll be fine. She'll be okay. I wish she came with me. Another room. And the lights are left on. Whoever's behind that door, I hope they're nice. Too bright. Turn the lights down, please. Somebody, turn the lights down.